Yes, it's striking that modern day psychology, New Agey teachings, there's a lot of emphasis on nervous system regulation, which would be like soothing some unpleasant state and like freaking out and trying to get to more stable, calmer, self-soothing. And also, if people have had a lot of hurts and PTSD and you know, damage, horrifying experiences, because in my profession I'm seeing this all the time. Terrible things happen a lot to people, and so this contributes to their nervous system is in a relatively chronic state of fight or flight, freeze, and that's not actually very possible to witness and be very successful in this work if the nervous system is jacked up in fight or flight or freeze. So from this point of view, it is very helpful to learn some kind of self-soothing, self-regulating tools like breath work or chanting or yoga or qigong or anything. I mean, I was talking to someone, you know, there are these rings that they track your they track your instinctive center, they track your physiology. And I had one of these rings too, and I could see when there's physiological stress and this or that. But this person told me, you know, when I watch these silly telenovelas, it's like my system gets restored, peaceful and calm, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, this is what's happening. One, I'm no longer giving attention. I'm distracting from this inner turmoil, and I'm looking at this silly novella, and my physiology goes to a baseline. Okay, the same will do a yoga session. The same will do even mindfulness for self-regulation, and that has a place. That has a place. It's important to be able to hack this a little bit. However, this makes me think of Gurdjieff in Beelzebub's Tales. He talks about that humanity is in the grip of the evil god of self-soothing. He really called it like that. Yeah, the evil god of self-soothing, and people trying to basically dispel and calm the pressure, the friction that is necessary to create the fire, to create the light and the transmutation of awakening. So this may evoke some criticism, whatever, because people say, dude, I'm in a trauma, I'm doing this for 7 years, I can't, how do you say that's not good? Hey, if you have a trauma, if you're on PTSD, don't worry about this. Learn how to self-manage, do all these things. We are talking here about using this human suffering and the pressures to activate and develop our consciousness potential, or as Gurdjieff would say, to use the energies of the physical body, mental bodies to jumpstart and feed and nourish and strengthen the higher being bodies. Like when this presence is more frequently longer online, apparently, it's hard to verify scientifically, but there's some alchemical process happens, and something in us, we are activating a subtle body, which is much more the identity than the mental body or the physical body.
And it's not, when that happens, it's not making the pressure go away. What it's doing is it neutralizes that pressure. This is subtle to see, but when we are more present, more conscious, consciousness itself, this thing that can't be measured, although science has indications of this, an object when observed changes its behavior, is known about. But in this case, we're not trying to change the energy, but we can neutralize its effect on us. Doesn't mean the trauma goes away, the pain goes away, the suffering goes away, the negative imagining goes away. but suddenly it is stripped of a certain aspect of its intensity by virtue of us being knowingly conscious of it and realizing ourselves as this consciousness of it. Suddenly it disarms, you could say. It disarms the intensity, the pain, the negativity, which doesn't necessarily go away, but it starts to be disarmed, neutralized. And this is what it means not to be identified. For when consciousness is not identified, life starts to neutralize itself. Just in those moments when you're more present, something changes. And this is what we come to realize and recognize through this, what we're talking about.
Yeah, I had a misunderstanding for a long time that if I engage in this work, I will become immune and imperturbed by anything, and there was the misunderstanding that I will reach a permanent state of total untouched and actually it's not like that. And I experienced myself, and also I talk to people that appear more conscious and advanced teachers, and the idea is that actually no, the more conscious one becomes and less identified, one doesn't become bulletproof unfeeling tank. It's more like actually one is very aware of every little thing. One is very aware of little disruption, a little disruption in the chest or in the belly, or somebody said something. There's a fine awarenessing of fine energy and waves, and also so one is much more receptive and touched, feeling deeper. However, there is no resistance to it. There's not fear of it. There's the complete, total understanding around it goes much easier, and one has trained to not resist energies, to allow them, to not hold on to them, to let them flow on their own, by themselves, without embroidery.
And without the feeling of identity attached to them.
Yes.
This is what gets neutralized also. Now when this happens, these things, we still have a human vessel that still gets hurt. It still burns if you put heat on it. And all these influences, the sun, the planets, humanity, other people, our situation, our life situation, all of these things still impinge upon this physical body. And to a certain extent on the psychological body. But less and less is there a feeling of me. So it's not taken personally. This is the other thing. It's not taken personally, meaning as a sense of identity, I'm being hurt, this shouldn't be happening to me, I don't like this, etc. More, this is happening, it's not even registered as a negative thing, it's registered as a sensation, a negative sensation. It's not anyways, and so this idea of not being identified or being less identified means less a sense of identity contributing to the problem.
Yeah.
You take away the sense of identity from problems, and problems change, their nature changes.
Mm-hmm.